So I'm so excited today to be here with my girlfriend, Melissa, who owns an amazing company. Melissa, did you want to tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and what you're an expert at?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to chat with you. And I'm so excited to talk about such a cool topic.
Me too.
Um, yeah, so I created a company called All the Brilliance, and it's a jewelry company that curates fine jewelry designed by women. And I also have a massive educational component. So I want people to sort of be able to very easily understand how to purchase jewelry that not only empowers them and amplifies their personal brand, but also aligns with their values. So responsible sourcing is very much something that I like to talk about, and of course, help women dress in a way that makes them feel confident and really amplifies their personal style.
I love that, Melissa. So tell me though, because there's so much information about, responsibly sourced and sustainability at this point. Can you just share a little bit about what we should look for or what we should look to avoid if that's important to us?
Yes. Well, every industry has a lot of greenwashing. And I will say for the jewelry industry, the S word is sometimes kindly referred to it as is a very complicated word to use because it doesn't really mean anything. And the other thing is jewelry, the ingredients in jewelry, precious metals and gemstones themselves are a non-renewable natural resource. So they cannot be sustainable, but those communities that these precious materials are mined from can be sustainable. So that's why I like to say that responsible sourcing is a better goal because beyond ethical, conflict-free, it really goes to the core of protecting people, their skills, and the natural environment, be it land or sea, so that we can purchase something that truly does align with how we would like to more intentionally make purchases, and ideally fewer better things that don't end up in landfills.
Yes. Yes. So that was super helpful. I never thought about it that way, that it's not a renewable resource. So there's a finite amount of that. Interesting. So then tell me, the artists that you work with are women, that's what you said,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then and they all support mining that is ethical and all of that.
Yes. So responsible sourcing looks different all around the world, from Australia to Colombia to Namibia. And also, the designers that I choose to curate the jewelry that I curate for sale, they practice responsible sourcing in different ways. An example would be Deborah Navarro, who is an amazing human. She's one of my favorite people on the planet, but she directly sources her gemstones that she uses in her jewelry from artisanal miners in East Africa, some of which are women. So she literally knows the individual humans that mine these gemstones. So that's one example. Another example is Fair Mined Gold. So with Fair Mined Gold, it's an assurance label that that demonstrates traceability, and um, the concept behind this is that these miners are mining gold in a way that is not using mercury or cyanide. And not only does that protect them, their health, but also the health of the environment. So when you're purchasing jewelry, these are some of the questions you can ask designers or your local jewelry store, or of course me. And I like to say that if you don't know where your jewelry ingredients come from, that's okay. Just admit it and say, gosh, I don't know. And that's a perfectly fine answer. But all the better if you do know, and you can say, oh, this green tourmaline came from, it was a mine to market gemstone. And I know it came from Nambia, and I can feel really good about wearing this necklace, and, or if this, I can feel very good about wearing this Fair Mine gold chain, because that it's supporting communities that are doing their best, especially with the Fair Mine gold, to protect them and the environment.
Absolutely. I had no idea, and this again, just like ignorance on my part, but I had no idea that mercury and cyanide were even used in mining gold. So yeah, I think there's a lot more involved than what most women realize when they go shopping for jewelry.
And it's not easy to find this stuff out. I mean,
Right.
it's really, I think that's why there are a lot of advocates within the industry who are really trying to be transparent and really just say, like, look, this is something that can be complicated, but we're trying to make it easily accessible.
Yes.
And also, this is a topic that I believe should be joyful. I mean, we all have these emotional connections to the pieces that we wear. And so why not, get excited about when you are wearing something that's really special and it reflects who you are, but also your values. I mean, that's something we can all feel really good about.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that, Melissa. I could just listen to you talking about jewelry for hours on end. So this month is body shape month around here, as in how to dress for yours. And because we've had lots of conversations about it before, is that we focus on our favorite feature before we worry about anything else when it comes to body shape. So before we, sit there and talk about our hips or our bum or anything like that, we pick our very favorite feature and then put time and thought into how to accentuate that. So we feel
Right.
super empowered and confident when we leave the house. So one of the things is that a lot of my clients pick their bust as their favorite feature. And necklaces and jewelry are one of the ways to accentuate that in a very tasteful, age appropriate kind of way. So, having said all of that, what tips do you have for my clients who like their bust area and want to emphasize it without going super low cut or super tight or anything like that, that will make us feel confident and accentuate our favorite feature?
Oh, I like this idea. Well, I think necklaces as tools to amplify our confidence and really represent something that means something to us. The first thing that comes to mind is layering. Necklace layering, and I think
100%.
what that does is it provides us kind of something that is like very personal, but also um, we find confidence in, like, I for example like to I find myself touching my necklaces for some reason, and it kind of gives me this very interesting like power. Like, oh, I know this is there, but also it conveys something. So for example, um I like to think of the tool of choosing a big statement piece, and that's like one of the trends for the summer is statement pieces, statement necklaces. And so this kind of fits perfectly into this conversation, because sometimes just wearing one thing, having one item that is the power statement, or the thing that makes you feel your most confident self, can really impact how you feel as well as how you look. And so one of the things is, if you have a short necklace and maybe it's just one necklace and it's a little bit more on the bold side, a statement side, um, if it's worn shorter, it kind of brings attention sort of towards your face.
Okay.
Um, and if you then say, well, there's another option, which is layering.
Right.
If I would like to have like 3 necklaces, that takes up a lot more space from here to here. And that then might amplify a little bit more your bust area. So, but what's cool about that is that, you can, as I say, like, reflect something that's maybe very personal about you. But also it can complement what you're wearing, how you're wearing it. So if you have, like, for example, I have a V-neck on, right? So that kind of means like I have this frame, and this is my canvas here. And so then I can sort of strategically choose, okay, like I would like a delicate necklace up top, maybe something that's a little bit, what is the word? Not heavier, but maybe a little bit, has a little bit more presence.
Okay.
And then maybe the last thing, the last necklace might be something that's a little bit longer, and maybe it has a pendant on it. And it kind of then takes advantage of this space
Mhm.
here. And then, of course, it does get into that territory where it amplifies more of your bust versus that first example I talked about, which is like a single statement and it's maybe shorter. And then that kind of draws your attention towards the face versus down here.
Right. Melissa, I love you said so many amazing things. I, from a unique style standpoint, I love the whole idea of layering necklaces because there is nothing more personal than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's possible that you and
Yeah.
I own the same necklace, but what are the chances of you picking 3 necklaces and me and them being identical? It's like never happened, right? So it is
Yeah.
such a unique style choice. And I
Yeah.
love that whole being able to mix and match the mediums and the beads and all of that. Like it's just it's like the frosting on the style cake. You know what I mean? Like it just really helps pull
Yeah.
your look
Yep.
together. I love
Yep.
that.
And
I
there
love
are a
that.
lot of strategies too about color.
Mhm.
There are a lot of strategies about like choosing a piece that is your style signature piece. So, I mean, this is such a broad
It
conversation,
is.
and we can talk about so many things. And the other thought is, we can also wear, what I love to think about is having a pendant that is that has a removable bail is what it's called, and that means that you can wear the same pendant on multiple necklaces, and it could look very different. You have one pendant can look very different in 3 different necklaces. And so it's, I think, a lot of strategic consideration that can go into making the most out of your budget, and possibly even looking at what you already have in your jewelry box that maybe you haven't worn for a very long time, or maybe you have something to reimagine.
Yes. Yes. You're right. We could talk about this forever. I mean, just layering necklaces entirely. But you brought up a really good point. And I know a couple of my clients, my coaching clients, have reached out to you before about the whole reimagined piece. They'll have heirloom pieces from their mother or their grandmother, their great grandmother, and it has an amazing sentimental value, but the style or the fashion isn't what they would feel comfortable with, and it doesn't really mix with their personal style today. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh yes. So well, I have this is one of my favorite topics. So I have so much to say. I'm going to try to be very brief, but I have actually my own pieces I've reimagined, and one piece in particular is what I could call multi-wear.
Okay.
It's a pair of earrings that are antique, and they're clip-ons, and they're really painful clip-ons, to be completely honest. But they're so beautiful. I love them. I love looking at them. And so what I did was 2 things. I added a post to them because I was thinking, well, if these are really, they're really tight, and I might, my earlobe might go numb and I might not feel it fall off. So I added a post to it. And then what also I wanted to do about adding the post is I realized I could then attach this earring as a pendant on necklaces. And so I'll just show you what this looks
Yes.
like. So here's the earring.
It is
The earring is,
beautiful. Oh,
yeah, it's really heavy.
okay.
And then, so if you can imagine, before there was no post. I don't know if you
Okay.
can see if there's a
Yep.
post there now.
Yes.
And so you can see the clip then is like toot toot, it
Yep.
goes closed. right?
I didn't,
So
Melissa, I have to be honest, I never even thought that that was an option. If you had a pair of clip-on earrings that you could turn them into, that is amazing. Okay, so go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, so it's a really good way to secure something, especially if it's monetarily precious or from an heirloom standpoint, priceless. So what's cool about this concept is that I can then wear this on a necklace. So
Oh, that's
ta-da!
gorgeous.
Yeah, and so it can be worn. There we go. It's always a challenge. So
No, it's
this can be
gorgeous.
worn on so many different
Yes.
necklaces. It can be worn on a pearl necklace. It can be worn on a nice thick chunky chain, gold
Yes.
chain. So the possibilities are endless. And then I can just wear them as earrings. Ta-da!
Yes. Now
And
that
there
they're
or
now that they're
there.
not turning your ears numb, you can wear them as earrings.
Exactly. Yeah, I can only wear them 2 hours and they have to come off.
Right. Right. I love
So,
that.
so
I love
So
that.
that's a way to kind of reimagine something and still be able to wear it as the original thing. And then you can wear it as a necklace. And then, if you have, maybe you have, another piece of jewelry that it was a cocktail ring and there's a gemstone in that ring that you like, but the style is maybe style of your grandmother, and maybe it was very different than what you would ever want to wear.
Right.
But you can basically harvest that gemstone out of that ring, and what we can do is create a pendant out of it. This is an example of this is not an heirloom gemstone. This is a artisanally mined gemstone, but you can see, sorry, it's there somewhere. I don't know if you can see.
Yep.
It's
Nope.
got like
I can totally see it. It's beautiful.
it's got what is called channel wire around it,
Okay.
and then there's a bail that is, again, removable bail. So here it is. Dun, dun, dun. Well, it's really hard to see, probably. Let me try that. How's that?
That's perfect.
Can you
That
see
is
it a
perfect.
little bit?
Yeah.
So the removable bail then can be worn on multiple necklaces. And if there happen to be maybe two gemstones and they're kind of similar, they could be worn together in a ring, or maybe they're earrings already. What we can do is create earrings so that they're like little mechanisms that maybe it's an earring with a stud, and then there's a kind of a hoop underneath the earring, and then you can wear this. I know this is a little weird, but you could
But it's a great
just
visual.
add,
Yes.
yeah. So you can add this, again, multiple piece. You can wear it as a pendant or wear it dangling from an earring.
I love
So,
that. From going from a cocktail ring that you were never going to wear, but has that
mhm,
sentimental value, and turning it into a piece that you can wear in lots of different ways. That's amazing.
yeah.
Melissa,
And
you're
do you know,
so creative. It's crazy pants.
we talk so much about, circularity in fashion, and jewelry has always been circular. It's
Right.
always, always, always been circular. And so we have all these gemstones that, and we can keep and carry that story of that grandmother, that aunt, that sister, whatever the case is, and we can reimagine it and keep that person close to us, and in a way that we would love to wear them as joyfully as possible.
I love that. So, Melissa, I know after our conversation that there's going to be a lot of women who want to get in touch with you. So, how is the best way for them to connect with you and learn more about what you do and see some of the artists that you work with and all of that?
Absolutely. So the website is allthebrilliance.com, and certainly via email, melissa@allthebrilliance.com. And maybe you'd be willing to share a few links to the website in the comments. But
Absolutely.
yeah, happy to chat with anyone and help them either find a piece that is thoughtfully designed by women, or help reimagine a piece that is special to them so that they can enjoy it again. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And Melissa, thank you so much for sharing. Like I said, I know a lot of my clients are going to get a lot out of what you talked about today. So thank you.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for hosting me. And I look forward to chatting more again soon.
Absolutely. We need to do this more frequently.
Yes, would love that.